Solving for verifying safe dosage. We're going to determine what's the recommended dosage for a particular patient. So as I'm reading this application, the scenario, I see that I have an order of 125 milligrams by mouth every 6 hours for a child who weighs 55 pounds. And then what do we see next? The next sentence says recommended. Sometimes they'll say on insert or CD insert for safe dosage. This here actually says recommended dosage. So when I see this, I know that we have some factors we got to factor in. So the next part says that for children weighing less than 40 kilograms. So we need to make sure this child weighs less than 40 kilograms before we say that we're even going to administer this drug. So let's do that right quick. So I know for every 1 kilogram, that's equivalent to 2.2 pounds. So now let's solve for it. The child weighs 55 pounds and we want kilograms. This pounds needs to reduce out. So that's what we're going to divide by from this needed conversion, the one that will reduce, which is 2.2 pounds. We're going to multiply it by what we're solving for, which is kilogram. And when we do that, we get 25 kilograms. So yes, this child meets the criteria, so we're going to use it. I'm just going to highlight this because this is my answer. Sometimes you'll have to round, so that go back and read what the rounding rules are. So now let's go further. I see 12.5 to 25 milligrams per kilogram per day by mouth in equally divided doses every 6 hours. All right, so we got a lot going on here. I see that I have a minimum, and that's what I'm going to do. See the word minimum here in this question? I'm going to go ahead and write the minimum down right here, and then we're going to break it down some more here in just a minute. So it says recommended daily dosage in the first question here. And if I look, my recommended minimum is 12.5 milligrams per kilogram per day. So the only thing I need to add to this conversion will be my patient. My patient will always go on top, guys. You always put your patient on top. So now I'm going to go through here and say, can I reduce the units? Yes, I can reduce kilograms. So I reduce kilograms, leaves milligrams per day. This is going to answer our question. So all we got to do now is just multiply. We're going to say 12.5 times at 25, and it's going to give us 312.5 milligrams per day. So this is what's the minimum safe dosage per day for this patient. So I'm going to put a box around it or highlight it so that way I acknowledge that's my answer. So the next question says, what's the recommended minimum single dosage? Well, I'm going to take this daily dosage here, the 312.5 milligrams per day, and figure out what is this single dosage. Well, when we come back up here to the question, it said equally divided doses every 6 hours. Okay, so what we need to determine is how many doses is that in one day. So over here on the side, I'm going to say there's 24 hours in a day. And I know that it said that we're going to do this every 6 hours. Every 6 hours, we're going to do what? Take one dose. Okay, so now I got to set up the way I need to. My hours reduced, and 6 goes into 24 4 times. 4 times 1 gives me 4 doses per day. All right, so now I got what I need to add right here. So we're going to put in here our needed conversion. In one day, our patient's going to do 4 doses. Then I'm going to go through here and say, okay, oh, my days reduced, leaves me milligrams per dose. And that's what we wanted, right? We wanted it per dose. So our answer after we divide 312.5 by 4 doses, we get 78.125 milligrams per dose. Okay, so I didn't put the S on this dose because we're talking about one setting. However, guys, the rounding will be is important. It's very necessary. Okay, so this determines on what medication we'll work with, what equipment we're using, and that is the science part of it. Right now, we're just doing the numbers and crunching and the math part and understanding the concept. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to round to the nearest hundreds on this one, and it's going to give me 78.13 milligrams per dose. There will be cases when you don't round and you drop the digits off. There's, different circumstances, but that's getting a little more into the science of it. Let's right now just do the number crunching. So we checked out the minimum. So now we need to do the maximum, right? We need to see what's the maximum daily dose. So when I come up here and look, I see that it's 25 milligrams per kilogram per day. And the kilograms told me that we're using our patient, right? We're using the patient's weight. And again, the patient always goes on top. So now let's come through here and make sure the kilograms reduce, leaves me with milligrams per day. Yes, so we're good. So now we got 25 times 25 gives me 625 milligrams per day. So we're doing good. So the last thing I need to do now is I need to figure out what is the maximum single dosage. And again, this up here where we said, because it said every 6 hours, 24 hours divided by 6 hours gives me 4. So it's 4 doses per day. So now all I need to do is take the 625 milligrams per day, set up my needed conversion of 1 day is, we're going to take 4 doses in 1 day. Okay, so I'm going to mark out the units that reduce with itself, and it leaves me with milligrams per dose. That's what we wanted. And we're going to divide 625 by 4, and we're going to get 156.25. Whoops, my notation. Notation is important, guys. We want everybody to be able to read what we're writing. It's very important. This math is extremely important. You're helping save people's lives. We can hurt them or help them. We'd rather help them. Okay. So we did good, guys. We figured out, okay, we figured out the maximum single dose and the maximum daily dose. Then we figured out the minimum daily dose and the maximum daily dose. Or single dose, excuse me, the maximum single dose, minimum single dose. Okay, so now the last question asked is the order safe? So here is your written statement. To answer this question, you have to ask yourself, is the order equal to or less than the maximum recommended single dose? Because we're talking about single dose. Guys, there'll be sometimes you may see an order where it said the order says take daily. It doesn't happen that often. It's usually telling you how much to take in one setting, how many times a day. But if it was daily, then we'd say daily here. Instead, though, this order here is literally saying what? When we go back to the top, what does it say? It says 125 milligrams by mouth every 6 hours. So it's telling me per dose. So 125 milligrams daily, or no, excuse me, sorry, per dose every 6 hours is my order. My maximum recommended single dose is 156.25 milligrams, right? If you want to do the notation, we can do that. Okay, so the order is 125 milligrams, and they recommend is 156.25 milligrams. The question clearly says, is the order equal to or less than the maximum recommendation? If it is, guys, if yes, then the order is safe. Okay, so if yes, the order is safe. Well, let's look at it. The order is 125, so it's not equal to. However, it is less than the recommended. So yes, this order is safe. If it was greater than the recommended maximum amount, then we would say no, the order is not safe because it exceeded the maximum recommended amount. In this case, yay. Yes, the order is safe because it fell within our maximum recommendation.